On behalf of the chairman, Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much, Senator King. Thanks to all the witnesses for being here. Dr. Gleason, if I could just start with you, I just want to start with a question about Oak Ridge National Lab. Since you're here from that institution, you've worked there for more than 30 years, is that right? 34, I think you said in your opening statement. Do you mind if I ask, do you happen to live in the area as well?
I do.
Here's why I'm asking. You're probably familiar with the role of Oak Ridge in the Manhattan Project, I bet. Is that fair to say?
I am, yes.
Could you just give us, for the benefit of those who are watching the hearing, could you just give us a thumbnail sketch of what Oak Ridge did for the country, to the extent that you know it? It doesn't need to be detailed, but just give us a synopsis, what Oak Ridge did for the country during the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, I mean, Oak Ridge, was stood up in the early 40s to try to help build the nuclear material that would power the bomb. So we built the world's first continuously operating nuclear reactor called the graphite reactor, which was part of that process. The graphite reactor is no longer operational, but you can go look at it. It's a wonderful tour stop when you come to Oak Ridge. But we are very proud of our roots in the Manhattan Project, and it continues to inform our national security mission part of what we do. We do Office of Science work, we do national security work, but our roots in the Manhattan Project, one of the big areas that came out of that was our material science strength. And we have a huge pillar in strength of material science that its roots go back to that Manhattan Project and Oak Ridge's contributions.
Very good. Thank you for that. I ask because Oak Ridge was such a critical part of the Manhattan Project, as you say, and the Oppenheimer movie of this last year, I think, raised awareness about what that project looked like and how it got started and the importance of Los Alamos. But really, at Oak Ridge, the government produced plutonium, and then there were other uranium processing sites around the country, including in my home state of Missouri, in St. Louis. And as you probably know, in both Oak Ridge and St. Louis, despite the fantastic, vital contributions of those processing plants, facilities, and labs to our national security, the nuclear waste was not properly disposed of in either place. And in Oak Ridge, the effects on the community have been severe. And I just want to quote from one of your fellow residents there in the Oak Ridge area. Tanvi Cardile is her name. She's the coordinator for the Oak Ridge Environmental Peace Alliance, who has said that it is time that people in Oak Ridge receive compensation for being exposed to radiation from nuclear waste. And now Oak Ridge, as we speak, is a Superfund site, and that is good. It's long overdue that it be cleaned up. But not only should it be cleaned up, those folks, your neighbors in the area who've been exposed to nuclear radiation over the years, ought to be compensated for it, just like in the city and region of St. Louis. And I bring all of this up because this body, to its credit, passed legislation that would compensate the good folks of Oak Ridge and the St. Louis area and other similar nuclear sites and other folks who were exposed to downwind testing during the Manhattan era and the Cold War era. We passed that legislation by 69 votes. And I look across the aisle, Senator King voted for that. I appreciate that, Senator, and most of my colleagues. It was a huge vote. It's now in the House of Representatives, and having you here from Oak Ridge, considering everything Oak Ridge and the entire region there that you work at has done for this country, I couldn't let the opportunity pass to thank the good people of Oak Ridge, to thank the scientists that you work with, to thank that community, and also to call on my colleagues in the House to pass this legislation. Compensate these good Americans who bore the brunt of our effort in the Second World War and the Cold War, which we won because of the effort of people at Oak Ridge and in St. Louis and in the residents who weren't themselves scientists but lived in the area and have suffered the effects of the nuclear radiation. They're proud to be Americans and to have served in this effort. They deserve compensation, however, just as they deserve to have their communities cleaned up. So thank you, Dr. Gleason, for testifying about the significance of that.